hello everyone out there in YouTube land. So today I'm counting down Darwyn Cooke's top 20 comic book covers. Darwyn Cooke is definitely one of my favorite artists. He has a very unique style that is instantly recognizable as his. Darwyn Cooke lived from November 16th, 1962 to November 14th, 2016. So this video is dedicated to his memory. He was taken from us much too soon, but I really believe he lives on through his art. Darwyn Cooke has a very large body of work, so it was really hard for me to narrow it down to simply 20. And even at that, I narrowed it down to just comic book covers. So this is gonna be a countdown of the top 20 Darwyn Cooke covers. Here we go. In at number 20, we have iZombie on DC's Vertigo imprint from 2010. Now, this has become fairly popular more recently thanks to the TV show, which runs on the CW by the same name. Now, with regards to the cover here itself, I really love the colors and the style of it, and it's really a quintessential Darwyn Cooke cover. Now, moving on, we have number 19, Catwoman number 2 from 2002 on DC Comics. Now, Darwyn Cooke is really well known for his Catwoman books, and this cover really captures the look of Catwoman. And personally, I really like how he managed to get the shininess of the material of her outfit to come through so well in a visual. Now, next up, we have number 18. Number 18 is Before Watchmen, Minutemen, issue number 5. And this is number 5 of 6 issues. And this whole miniseries, these 6 issues, were written and drawn by Darwyn Cooke. So that's really cool. I really love it when they have the artists who drew the book also write it. I imagine a lot of artists can't pull that off, but there are some. George Perez has done it, and Darwyn Cooke did it here. Anyway, in this story, Hollis Mason, who is the original Night Owl, you'll remember if you've read The Watchmen or watched the movie, and in this book he recounts his exploits with the Minutemen in the 1940s. Now we have number 17, the cover for The Spirit Volume 1 on DC Comics, and these issues came out between 2007 and 2008. Now, I'm a big fan of The Spirit, and I really love this cover. I think the colors of it are just excellent, and for just having one character on the cover, it's done just amazingly well. It really catches the eye. Like, if you were walking by a newsstand and you saw this cover, you'd be like, oh, what's this? So, it's really great, and I don't remember exactly when The Spirit movie came out, but it was in the mid-2000s, so I don't know if there's a tie-in there or not. If you know, let me know in the comments. I really did like The Spirit movie when it came out. Now that I think about it, I think it came out a few years before this book, so they probably aren't connected. In any case, I'm a big fan of The Spirit, and I think this cover is really worthy of Will Eisner and the character of The Spirit. So next up is number 16. We have another Catwoman cover. Like I was saying, Darwyn Cooke is really well known for Catwoman. There are a lot of characters that people associate with Darwyn Cooke because he drew them so uniquely, and Catwoman is one of those. And this cover is from the New 52. It's the second Catwoman cover on this list, and my favorite of the two. It really captures the athletic skill and grace of Catwoman, while still showing her as an expert thief. Catwoman has really always been one of my favorite villains, if you can call her that. Sure, she steals stuff, but she has a good heart, and she tends to err on the side of what's right. I think you could even go so far as to call her an anti-hero more than a villain. And, you know, I was thinking she's also a little bit like Robin Hood. She'll often steal from the rich to give to the poor. In fact, I think you could go so far as to say Catwoman is a modern-day Robin Hood. Moving on, we have number 15. Number 15 is Thunder Agents number 1. Thunder Agents number 1 was on DC Comics and came out in 2011. It is written by Nick Spencer. Now, as far as the cover, I really like the cover. It's got a great use of color. You'll notice right away the yellow figure on the bottom and then the red and blue throughout. And the faces of the characters you can really see have the unique Darwyn Cooke style, so that's a really great cover. Now, moving on, we have number 14, The Golden Age Superman Omnibus, Volume 1, which just goes to show how prominent of an artist Darwyn Cooke was to get to do the cover of such a major book. Golden Age Superman Omnibus, Volume 1 collects stories from Action Comics number 1 through 31, World's Fair number 1, New York World World's Fair 1940, and Superman 1 through 7. Now, next up we have number 13. Now moving on to number 13, we have Green Lantern Corps, number 37 from the New 52. Now this is an amazing cover. It really represents the Green Lantern Corps. You've got a lot of the prominent Green Lanterns standing in the front here. You can see John Stewart and Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner and Kilowog and a lot of the important alien Green Lanterns, and then in the background you have more Green Lanterns in flight. I really like this cover, and I wanted to put it higher up on the list, but there are just so many good ones. It's really hard to narrow it down. With that in mind, we're moving on to number 12, which is Detective Comics number 37 from the New 52. Now this is a really iconic cover. As you can see, Bruce Wayne, Batman, is asleep on the chair there, just exhausted, and his ever-present caretaker, Alfred, is covering him with a blanket. Alfred's been there for him his whole life, and you can see the blood and bandages on Batman's knuckles implies that he is just back from a hard-fought battle. Next up, number 11 is a pretty funny cover. I really like it. It's quite humorous. It's Harley's Little Black Book, number 47. This book, as you can see, Harley Quinn used what is called mellow yellow paint. She put yellow paint over his Green Lantern ring. And in the old days, Fear, well, in DC Comics, the color for Fear is yellow, and that counteracts the Green Lantern, Will, and the color for Will is green. But as far as things just being colored yellow, I don't know. I don't think that's effective anymore. That was like an old thing. But, you know, it's just a joke, so that's pretty funny. And moving right along, we're now in the top 10. Number 10 is Batman the Spirit. Batman the Spirit is a 2007 one-shot comic written by Jeff Loeb, with art, of course, by Darwyn Cooke, but also with Jay Bone. It was published by DC Comics. The comic is a crossover between Batman and the Spirit, which is really awesome. Those are two of my favorite characters, and I really like this cover. You've got the classic Batman frown versus the Spirit's smile. And this book, it won a 2007 Eisner Award for Best Single Issue, and the colorist Dave Stewart won the Eisner for Best Coloring for his work on Batman the Spirit. Darwyn Cooke also won in 2007 the Joe Shuster Award for Outstanding Artist for this book, and also for the Spirit series which followed, and we already showed that cover a little while ago. So moving on, we have number 9. This is one of my favorites by far. It's Supergirl number 37 on the New 52 from 2014. Supergirl, one of my all-time favorite heroes, definitely in the top 10, and I really love this cover. If I were judging these all solely just on my preference, this one would definitely be in the top 3. I love Supergirl, but I also love the legion of super pets who are here with her. There's Streaky, the super cat, which it makes sense that Streaky would be there since that's Supergirl's pet. But she's also joined by Superman's dog, Krypto, and she's riding the super horse, Comet. And I didn't even know Comet flew. Moving on to number 8, we have a really devious cover. It is Sinestro number 8, also on the New 52. And I believe all these New 52 covers are from 2014, and some, if not all of them, are variants of the main cover. But anyways, this cover is really intense. We see what happens when Sinestro wins. Truly, he is one of the all-time greatest supervillains. Now, personally, I don't like this cover too much because it's just basking in its own evil. But that's clearly the intent, and Sinestro is an evil being. Darwyn Cooke really is a master artist in that he captures the characters just so well in his art. Even the characters I don't care for, I have to admit, are expertly handled. And lastly, the green and purple colors on this cover just look amazing, and it really makes it stand out. So moving on, we have number 7, Justice League United, number 7. This is also a New 52 cover. This is another one like many of the others. So I like this roster of superheroes. It has Supergirl, as I mentioned, and also Stargirl and Martian Manhunter. So that's a very powerful lineup, I think. So let's see, and it's a great and stylish cover. It has many characters, but it isn't too crowded, so that's really good. Number 6 now, another Justice League cover, but this is just Justice League, not Justice League United. So it's also a New 52 cover. You know, Darwyn Cooke did a whole bunch of these New 52 covers. I only pulled my favorites, but there are many. In any case, this Justice League number 37 is a really great cover, and it shows off his own style. So we've got Darwyn Cooke's spin on these classic characters. They really have a New Frontier look to them, don't they? And even though it contains 11 characters on this cover, it doesn't feel too busy or crowded, which is truly amazing. Not to pick on franchises or anything, but I was looking at some Guardians of the Galaxy covers, and as I'm sure you know from the comic, or from the comic and from the movies, Guardians of the Galaxy has a lot of characters. So they often seem to have a problem with their comic book covers of it being too crowded. Say, like, Star-Lord or whatever half of him will be covering another character. It's just a problem. But here is a great example by Darwyn Cooke of how you can have 11 characters on a cover and not have it seem too busy. Now, moving on, something a little bit different here. Now that we're in the top 5, we have a book from Dynamite Comics from 2007, and it's Painkiller Jane, number 3. Now, this cover is kind of simple looking, and I wasn't going to rate it so highly at first, but it's actually a lot more complex than you might think at first. It actually makes me think of a yin-yang. You see, one of her eyes is closed, and one of her shoes is off. This definitely seems to be a metaphor for duality, or light and dark, or something like that. However, I could just be reading into it too much. Let me know in the comments what you think, what your theory is on this comic book cover. So, and also, it's just a really great cover in any case. So, moving on to number 4, we have Jersey Gods number 2 on Image Comics. This is one of my personal favorite covers of all of the ones I've looked at. This one is ranked number 4 because I like it so much. I think it's a good cover too, but I just love how Darwyn Cooke draws women, and it's impossible to look at this cover and not smile. It's really infectious, and it makes me want to read Jersey Gods sometime. I've never read it before, so if you've read it, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Now, we're in the top 3. Things are getting pretty exciting. I know I'm excited. So, number 3, Teen Titans number 5, also from 2014, and also from the New 52. So, this is definitely the best Teen Titans cover I've seen, at least since George Perez drew them. They're having so much fun, and it's just amazing to see that. Can you imagine having a speedster on the drums? This is really a great idea and a super fun cover. It really captures the more light-hearted side of the Teen Titans, and once again, the colors and the layout. And even though there's a lot of characters, it doesn't look too busy. As always, Darwyn Cooke, he can do a busy cover with a remarkable amount of skill. Now, number 2, I really love this cover. It's Superman, Wonder Woman from the New 52. I really loved that storyline. They were so in love, and I know that Rebirth has retconned all that, but there'll always be a place in my heart for the romance that Superman and Wonder Woman shared. So, of all the covers that came out during the Superman, Wonder Woman run, this one's my favorite, and I guess it's my favorite of all of the New 52 covers that Darwyn Cooke did as well. I'd really love to see it as a wall poster. And as a side note, I do have some issues from Superman, Wonder Woman from the New 52, and I'll review those sometime in the near future. I believe I have issue 1 and an annual. So now we're up to number 1. Did you guess what number 1 is? I bet a lot of you have figured out what number 1 is because it hasn't come up so far. Number 1, it is DC The New Frontier, Volume 1. So, DC The New Frontier is an Eisner, Harvey, and Schuster award-winning 6-issue comic limited series written and drawn by Darwyn Cooke. So he gets full credit. He wrote it, he drew it. It was published by DC Comics in 2004, and the series has been collected into 2 paperback trade-back volumes. And that's what this is the cover of, is the first volume. So, in 2008, this was made into an animated movie, which is quite good. And that's it. That's 20 through number 1 of the top Darwyn Cooke covers. Let me know in the comments what you thought, if you agree, if you disagree, if you would have done it differently, if you feel I left some out, if you think it's perfect. Wouldn't that be amazing, you know? Let me know in the comments, and as always, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and thank you for watching.
End of line.